Muyang High School has been receiving the Best School Award for the past 2 years, but the reality is far different from the fame. A powerful gang, led by a wealthy boy named Han Su-gang, bullies students. Despite his wrongdoings, the students, teachers, and even the principal ignore him because of his family's wealth. As usual, Su-gang's friends are seen torturing Jin Hyung, pressing his neck until he loses consciousness, while another gang member, Minji, records the entire scene on video. They later drag Jin Hyung into a room and force him into a cruel game where he is beaten every time he loses. Su-gang himself stands in the audio room, enjoying the spectacle and broadcasting Jin Hyung's screams to the entire school. Although everyone, including students and teachers, hears the cries, nobody comes forward to help him. The story then introduces the main female character, Si-min, who has just joined the school as a temporary teacher. She has been hired only for 3 months, but she secretly wishes to secure a permanent position. Because of this, she not only maintains polite behavior with her colleagues, but also performs her duties with full dedication. While Si-min is in the washroom, she overhears 2 teachers outside talking among themselves. They mention that the teacher who had occupied Si-min's position before her had taken her own life. Hearing this unsettles Si-min, and she later learns that the cause of her demise was the students' relentless bullying. Si-min, pretending not to have overheard the conversation, deliberately puts on her earphones so that the teachers do not realize she has listened in. After this, Hao takes Si-min along to reveal the hidden reality behind the school's glittering reputation. In her room, Hao shows Si-min a video where Su-gang and his gang are harassing an old woman. At that moment, Jin Hyung appears in the video, attempting to protect the woman, which inevitably puts him in conflict with Su-gang. It is then revealed that the old woman in the video is none other than Jin Hyung's grandmother. Hao also explains to Si-min that once, in his previous school, Su-gang had beaten a boy so severely that he was expelled and eventually transferred here. Hao warns Si-min that if she wishes to stay at this school permanently, she must learn to ignore such things. Hearing this makes Si-min's blood boil, but she does not argue with Hao. Instead, when she returns home, she vents all of her anger on the punching bag. At that moment, her friend Li Guanzhong, who works as a police inspector, visits her. The two of them spar in boxing, and Si-min defeats him in the blink of an eye. It is then revealed that Si-min is not an ordinary woman, but a skilled boxer who once came very close to winning a medal. Her only dream is to win a gold medal someday. However, for now, she has sacrificed that dream, because her father, who was also a boxer in the past, is deeply in debt. To help him repay the loans, Si-min runs a gym and also works part-time at the school. After the practice, Si-min notices a mask lying nearby and wonders how it ended up there. Guanzhong casually suggests that perhaps her father placed it there, but Si-min does not think much about it. The next day, Si-min tries to get along with everyone at school. She makes efforts to be friendly with her students in class, hoping that the trust she builds will help secure her a permanent position. She even chooses to ignore students smoking on campus. But one day, she notices Jin Hyung being brutally beaten by Su-gang and his gang. She realizes that Su-gang has covered the CCTV cameras and placed a plastic bag over Jin Hyung's face while assaulting him. Unable to tolerate this cruelty, Si-min decides to intervene. On her way, however, she encounters a boy named Lee, who warns her not to get involved. He explains that Su-gang's mother is a lawyer while his father is the chief prosecutor, and because of their influence, nobody dares to speak against him. Si-min also understands that if she openly takes action, it could create problems for her and even put her job at risk. So, she decides to use her wits. Meanwhile, Su-gang threatens Jin Hyung, warning him that if he dares to move, he will kill his grandmother. As Su-gang is about to attack, Si-min suddenly steps in, striking Su-gang but deliberately falling down herself so that it looks like she accidentally got in the way. She quickly picks up Jin Hyung's bag, apologizes to Su-gang, and tells him to return to class. Su-gang, still angry, asks his friends who the woman is. They explain that she is the replacement for the teacher who had committed suicide after being tormented by their bullying. Hearing this, Su-gang becomes furious, and, out of frustration at his first real setback, even begins beating up his own friends. The scene then shifts to Lee, who is seen receiving boxing training from Si-min's father. In reality, Lee works at a restaurant where Si-min's father often goes. The next day, Si-min calls Jin Hyung into her room and asks if he has reported the matter to the principal. Jin Hyung replies that both the principal and the police already know, but no one is willing to help him. Instead, he has been advised to leave the school. He questions why he should go when he has done nothing wrong. He even pleads with Si-min for help, but she knows very well that none of the teachers would support her, which leaves her powerless to act. That night, while thinking about Jin-young, Si-min recalls her own past. She remembers how she lost in women's boxing, and her dream of winning a gold medal slipped away. Her father, disappointed by her failure, had scolded her harshly and even refused to acknowledge her as his daughter. The next day, mustering up all her courage, Si-min confronts Su-gang on the rooftop, asking him to stop harassing the students. Su-gang, however, becomes enraged and behaves disrespectfully toward her. Si-min, unable to take further action at that moment, walks away. Meanwhile, all the staff members' phones suddenly light up with a message stating that Su-gang has brutally bullied another boy. This message spreads panic throughout the school, as everyone wonders who could have dared to expose him. The principal also grows worried, because the news has now reached the education committee. Just then, Su-gang's mother arrives at the school, her face burning with anger. Su-gang's mother storms into the school and demands to know who has filed a complaint against her son. She misbehaves with all the teachers, but none of them dares to look her in the eye. Si-min, observing the situation, realizes that her colleagues may end up in trouble because of her, so she steps forward and admits that she was the one who filed the complaint. This enrages Su-gang's mother, who begins to beat Si-min in front of everyone. Si-min, however, stays calm and does not fight back, knowing that this family is extremely powerful and that she cannot take direct action against them. Later, Su-gang confronts the principal and asks what will happen to Si-min. The principal replies that she has been dismissed from the school. Instead of feeling relieved, Su-gang grows furious, kicks the principal, and demands that Si-min be brought back. Meanwhile, Si-min is shown sitting on a sidewalk, upset and visibly angry. At that moment, her friend Gwon-jong arrives. She tells him everything about the ugly bullying games going on at the school. She also asks for his help in saving Jin-hyung, but Gaeon-jong explains that without solid evidence, they cannot directly accuse Su-gang. If they try, it could cause even bigger problems. Hearing this frustrates Si-min even more. Before she can release her anger, she notices her father, who is seen picking up young children after a boxing session. He tries to talk to her, but Si-min, still furious, walks away. A little later, Si-min sits alone in a store when Su-gang and his entire gang show up, trying to intimidate her. They harass her, but Si-min restrains herself and leaves without reacting, since she does not want to take direct action yet. On her way out, however, she is deliberately pushed and struck by a passerby. This finally makes her lose her composure. Her rage explodes like a volcano, and with a single kick, she knocks the man unconscious. At that moment, she resolves that she will teach Su-gang the same kind of lesson and save Jin-hyung. On the other side, Su-gang is shown playing basketball with his gang. During the match, a player from the opposing team accidentally collides with him, which enrages Su-gang. This small incident quickly escalates into a violent fight between the two groups, while Si-min watches from a distance. Seizing the opportunity, Si-min puts on the same cat-like mask she had found earlier in the gym and launches a surprise attack on Su-gang. Lee Gwon-jong arrives carrying an order of fried chicken, but when he sees the violent scene unfolding, he stops in his tracks. At the same time, Si-min is fiercely taking down one of Su-gang's gang members when the police arrive, forcing Su-gang to flee and bringing the fight to an end. The next day at school, Si-min appears quite cheerful, still pleased with herself for the way she had beaten Su-gang the night before. By then, the video of Su-gang's beating has gone viral across the entire school, and everyone begins to see the masked figure as a hero. Some students even draw pictures of the cat mask on Su-gang's desk, which infuriates him. In his rage, he smashes his desk to pieces in front of the teacher and storms out of class, followed closely by his followers. On the road, his reckless driving terrifies them, but to calm him down, they suggest he vent his anger on Jin-young. Hearing Jin-young's name instantly lifts Su-gang's mood. Meanwhile, Si-min, still in high spirits, plays around with the mask at her gym. At that moment, Lee Gwon-jong arrives and tells her that revenge is not the only path. If she seeks justice, there are other ways to pursue it. Understanding his words, Si-min decides to burn the mask. On the other side, Su-gang plays a game with Jin-hyung, but Jin-hyung seizes the first chance to escape. He runs straight to Lee's restaurant, where Lee's boss helps him. Lee then hurries to Si-min's gym, already knowing that the masked figure is none other than her. He informs Si-min about Jin-hyung's situation and asks for her help. He also reveals that he was the one who had called the police at the basketball court, because he knew the person behind the mask was Si-min. By this time, Jin Hyung, fed up with everything, grabs a knife and sets out to confront Su-gang. At the same moment, Si-min once again clashes with Su-gang. But just then, Jin Hyung arrives, knife in hand. Luckily, Si-min notices him before Su-gang does and manages to stop him, though she ends up wounded by the knife in the process. Si-min is taken to the hospital, where her father scolds her. But while there, he also sees the cat mask. Driven by anger, he puts it on himself and goes after Su-gang to avenge his daughter, leading to yet another violent clash between the two. Si-min gets up from the bed and steps outside, insisting that she is completely fine now. As soon as she comes out, she notices her father, whose face is swollen because Su-gang had beaten him badly. Seeing her father in such a condition makes Si-min restless for revenge against Su-gang. Later, while Si-min and her father are driving home, her father apologizes to her. He admits that he knew she was about to win the boxing match that day, but at that moment, a man had offered him a large sum of money, enough to pay off his debt. That was why she had stopped her attacks and allowed the opponent to knock her out. Even though her father had shouted at her that day, he always knew the real reason behind her defeat. Now, he says sorry, and Si-min cannot stop her tears, though she somehow manages to control them. The next day at school, Su-gang's gang members are searching for the person in the cat mask. They have figured out that whoever it is must be from this school, so they start checking the students' hands for cuts. The same kind of cut caused by Jin Hyung's knife the previous night. However, no such mark is found on anyone. Just then, Su-gang notices Si-min wincing in pain after a student accidentally bumps into her. He immediately realizes that she is the one. Approaching her, Su-gang grabs her injured arm and demands to know why she saved him from Jin Hyung. Si-min responds that she wasn't saving him, but rather protecting Jin Hyung from getting into deeper trouble. Hearing this infuriates Su-gang, and he tries to suffocate her by putting a plastic bag over her head. But then, as his eyes fall on a pamphlet about the upcoming school boxing championship, he changes his mind. Instead of finishing her off, he challenges her to fight him in the competition. With no other choice, Si-min agrees. Meanwhile, Jin Hyung seems utterly tired of life and climbs to the school rooftop, intending to jump. At that moment, Si-min arrives and reminds him of his grandmother. Her words pull him back from the brink, and he breaks down crying. Si-min hugs him tightly, comforting him. Finally, the day of the big fight arrives. Jin Hyung distributes cat masks among all the students so they can cheer for the mysterious cat-masked person. Across the city, excitement for this fight reaches its peak, since Su-gang is considered a big personality. Soon, the fight begins, and Su-gang turns out to be a tough fighter who keeps beating Si-min relentlessly. In the middle of the fight, Si-min's hair comes loose, and everyone is shocked to realize that she is actually a girl. At that moment, Si-min regains her form and begins countering every strike of Su-gang. She removes her mask as well, leaving everyone stunned to see that it is indeed Si-min. After this, Si-min lands a powerful kick on Su-gang and throws him straight out of the ring, winning the match. As Su-gang tries to leave, Si-min demands that he kneel before Jin Hyung and apologize. But Su-gang still refuses to bow. Therefore, together with Jin Hyung, Si-min files a complaint against him with the police. When the complaint is lodged, Minji also arrives at the school. She's been suffering under Su-gang's torment, and being a member of his group, she promises to provide all the evidence against him. With that, Su-gang is arrested. The scene then shifts to a few days later, where Si-min is shown working happily at a job training students in gymnastics, far away from the school. And with that, the story comes to an end.